Hello and welcome to Region Weather Live, your online streaming YouTube source for weather across the Dakotas and Minnesota. I'm meteorologist Brad Warner, and hey, we made it through day 2 of this very large system that's made it across our region. And areas across central and western parts of North Dakota, man, they've been dealing with some moderate to heavy snow again all day today, along with very strong winds as we take a look at the current conditions as the center of the low out in central to east central parts of North Dakota right now continues to spin around. We have some snow exiting the Arrowhead region. That area is moving to the east and should be out over the next few hours, but some accumulations obviously taking place there. But a bulk of the snow is still around that Minot to Bismarck area, with some heavier areas just a little bit out west of there even. Now, what I've got popped up here also are the wind gusts, and note 55 to 60 miles per hour, sometimes even stronger at times. So plenty of blowing and drifting snow going on out there, plenty of road closures because of this. So even though some areas may not have picked up, the heavy snow, they still had to deal with the bad visibilities because of all the wind. Now, as we zoom in and take a little closer look into the Minot radar, you can see this band of moderate to heavy snow continues to wrap around this region with the low centered out here. Plenty of snow to be had out there along with those winds. And also, you notice some of the numbers that are popping up out there. Those are the snowfall that's been reported to the Weather Service. 26 inches up here in Burlington and in Ward County, 24 inches around Richardton, that's in Stark County, another 24 inch in Sentinel Butte, that's Golden Valley, and then plenty of teens to 20-inch marks across a good portion of the central and western parts of North Dakota. Now here's just a general snowfall map. It's kind of digitized. We'll get a more accurate one once the storm system is completely over and we see some actual maps out of the National Weather Service. But this gives you a pretty good idea of what has fallen so far. The orange is 60 to 20. The tan is 12 to 16. This pinkish color is 8 to 12, and once you get to this red, it's more 4 to 8. So some widespread areas of 12 to over 20 inches of snow across central and western parts of North Dakota. And boy, that's a heck of a lot of moisture that I know those guys needed, but it sure created a lot of havoc out there. And that havoc will kind of continue into the overnight hours as the snow continues to fall across central and western parts of North Dakota. It will, some of it will decrease in intensity as we get into the early morning hours of Thursday. So that's the good thing. Once we get into the morning hours, that moderate stuff will decrease, but they will pick up a few more inches of snow in spots. Now, also note out in the eastern parts of North Dakota and northern Minnesota, the snow starts to make its way back in. We continue to snow throughout much of the day across the region on Thursday, and then finally by Thursday evening, it looks like some of this begins to move on out of the west as this high pressure begins to move in. We continue to have some light snow across northern parts of Minnesota, and then finally by Friday morning, finally, this system moves out, and this high pressure takes hold a little bit more across the region, so that by late in the day Friday, probably should be finally clearing out some of those clouds, and the winds will be dying off. Now, we're going to keep going with this, and note as we get into Sunday morning, Easter Sunday, here comes another disturbance, another system moving through our area, bringing more snow across northern parts of North Dakota and Minnesota, as well as through eastern parts of Dakotas and through Minnesota as well. We will talk a little bit more about that here coming up, but just note on Sunday, there will be some hazardous travel conditions possible due to another system moving through our region. And we're going to take just a real quick look at what the possible accumulations might be with the remainder of this storm. Here you can see kind of a 2 to 3, maybe 4-inch mark there. That's associated with some of that moderate to heavy snow that's out there. Actually, it's a little bit off the mark. This band of snow is actually a little bit further to the west. So those of you kind of out in this region out in here, possibly another 2 to 4 inches, mainly overnight tonight, Wednesday night. But then I think the rest of this area is probably looking pretty good, where we're looking at maybe another 1 to possibly 2 inches of snow out there. So nothing too major for the remainder of this storm system, but with the exception of this little band that's kind of out in here. But this is kind of what we're left with as far as expected snowfall. As far as the wind gusts go, there you can see the 55 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts on this model here, all in the yellow. And as we continue that along throughout the nighttime hours here and into early parts of Thursday morning, they begin to slide down to the south and east, but still holding on quite a bit, 35 to 47, 46 miles per hour across parts of central and western North Dakota. So still expecting reduced visibilities, blowing and drifting. Probably some pretty slippery roads continue overnight on Wednesday night into early Thursday morning. Those of you down in South Dakota still have to deal with some pretty strong winds. Now, granted, you didn't have the snowfall that North Dakota had, but still, just that's some pretty good winds to be dealing with. Now, as we move into the day on Thursday, into the afternoon, we know some of those winds finally move into eastern parts of North Dakota, northwestern Minnesota, to where some of those areas also receive snow. So note that, with the light snowfall that's going to be occurring in the early morning hours on Thursday and throughout the day on Thursday, it might blow around some of that snow that could fall throughout the day. But given what we've had so far for us in the east, we've had a pretty quiet day today on Wednesday, and it was highs were in the 30s. So this was some pretty heavy snow that's on the ground. So I really don't think it's going to blow around much. The only thing that's really going to blow around is whatever's going to fall throughout the day on Thursday. Now, out in the west, they got plenty of snow out there. So we're still going to be seeing at least some drifting throughout much of the day on Thursday. And finally, by Thursday evening, the winds begin to lighten up from southwest. And then kind of that lightness, the decreasing in intensity moves from southwest to northeast across the night, during the night on Thursday night and into Friday morning. And then throughout the day on Friday, we're just left with some wind gusts of 25 to 30 miles per hour. So nothing quite as bad on Friday. And then things begin to improve even more so as we get into Saturday. As we take a peek at a longer range model, here it is again on Sunday morning, and that lines up pretty well with what that shorter range model was showing for Sunday morning. So looking like a pretty decent chance of some snow starting to fall across the north and eastern parts of the Dakotas. Once we get into the afternoon hours, it continues across the north and begins to move into Minnesota. And then once we get into Sunday night, that low moves into Minnesota, and that snow kind of hangs on in northern parts of Minnesota, but finally begins to move out across North Dakota. And then finally by Monday morning, most of that is out, and another high pressure system kind of helps clean things out once again. Now, as we move this along, there is the possibility of another storm system on Tuesday into Wednesday of next week. That one's a little more murky in the way that the models are kind of all over the place on this one as to where exactly and when. So, but there's just something else we're going to have to keep an eye on, that maybe next Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll have to look at the potential, at least, for another storm system. And just to zoom back in and just give you a rough idea of where this snowfall could occur across the north and across the eastern portions of the Dakotas, northern Minnesota. Now, mind you, again, this is Sunday. That's a ways out there. Another model really didn't have quite as much snow on there. Another one had a little more. This one's showing, possibly another 9 inches across the north. I don't really know how much yet. It's just, it looks like there will be some impactful snow moving through North Dakota, northern Minnesota on Easter Sunday. And given that it's Easter Sunday, a big day of travel, I just felt I got to get this out there and let you guys know that there might be some travel impacts on the day on Sunday. We'll see exactly how much this winds up really being. There might be some winds associated with it as well. So just something to keep an eye on and something we'll have to talk about over the next couple of days. So I'm sure you didn't want to hear about the possibility of more snow, especially when it comes to Easter Sunday, but I guess that's just kind of the pattern we seem to be living in right now. There's some hints out there that if there is another storm system on Tuesday, Wednesday, once that moves through, that finally will be warming up after that. So just maybe got to hang on for another week or so, and then hopefully things will start to improve after that. We'll see. We'll see how things turn out, but there might be some hope on the horizon. So I thank everybody for tuning in and watching me, especially over the last couple of days with this big storm system. Please do me a favor, as always, subscribe, hit the subscribe button down below. That does me a huge favor in getting this channel more and more noticed, and also share it. That obviously is going to help me out quite a bit. One other thing, just if people could leave a comment also down below and just let me know where you're from. Especially if I don't know you personally, just let me know where you're from, so that maybe that way I can focus in on some areas. If I know, hey, Jane lives out in Minot and she watches my channel, so let me tell you what the weather's going to be out there. That would be great. That would help me out and might actually help you out, because then I kind of focus in more on the areas that I know where people for sure are watching. So again, thanks everybody for watching me. This is meteorologist Brad Warner, and let's hang in there for just another day with this big system, and thank you for watching.